Welcome YouTube, welcome Facebook. You can do comments. If you'd like to be a part of the conversation and you are tuned in on Facebook, what you want to do is go over there to YouTube. I am Dee Shields. If you're listening while live, and you will see the link here is available for you. And can we just say, before we begin, no weapons formed against me shall prosper in so many ways. The enemy is trying so hard to just get in the way of everything that is just constantly kind of just coming real heavy and strong. That's how you know you're chosen. I'm telling you, when you're trying to find those clues and you are unsure every time something is happening. Thank you. That is good. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate that. I'm gonna put you with some music over here on YouTube, guys. Start. Yeah. I know most people are outside, so I get a lot of views on YouTube. I just get a lot of people that come after. Probably gonna have sound, so give me a moment. Like the live if you will, please tap the live, please. I'm going to go ahead and start adding to. Sorry about that extra feedback. But I definitely can't. I will not be able to put that on mute, so it may echo for you guys. It looks like it does have a echo and a delay. All right, let's do this for just a moment, and then we will get rid of the echo and delay. All right, so roommate trial, path to marriage, would you consider yay or nay? Type into the comments, yay or nay. Would you consider a roommate trial with your person? You are both intentional, so you know for sure that this is your person. All the doubt is gone. Would you consider, because it's not for the weak. Heck, marriage is not for the weak. So it definitely is not for the weak. Okay? All right. So we're going to go ahead and turn off that background over there and get you guys on started. Hold on a second. Every time I get ready, I have puppy problems. All right, you two, hang in there. To the roommate trial, the cohabitation. So again, you've already decided. So you have your yays and your nays. If you didn't type them, that's okay. Write this down. We are going into the cohabitation and all the things that can come with it. I apologize for that. And trust me, he's just spoiled above anything else. Okay, so I'm sorry, making sure that the sound is on. So let's talk about the legal part of it. The legal part of it, you may want to get a legal contract. And this is not legal advice. You may want to put a legal contract together. Most individuals who will decide whether or not they are going to do a cohabitation are going to do so in a roommate status. So you really don't have to try to build this thing in such a way as if you are, you don't have to try to act as if you're, you're for sure that you're going to get married, so that's not something that you're doing. But you do want to, you get where I'm coming from. This is not legal advice, but if you want to put the particular contract together, then you can do that. That you definitely. Hold on just a second. A second. Hold on just a second, you guys. I'm sorry, I have another delay. I'm sorry about that. And if you're listening to this after the show, you probably are going to be disturbed. So we may only keep up the clips, okay? Because it's going to be a lot of interruptions. One moment. All right. All right, you loves, I'm back. Okay, so sorry about that. Thank you for sticking in there. If you're hanging in there, and we will, matter of fact, I'll go through and I'll edit that out. Okay, so you definitely want to consider maybe whatever fee. Some people may do it for you at no cost. Possibly, you may have an app that can do it for you to write some kind of contract to say this is what this is. These are the conditions. This is not a guarantee of marriage. This is not a guarantee that I'm going to stick around. This is just the contract that we have. And these are the stipulations of if I decide that I am going to walk away. If anything happened where I owe any part of a bill, et cetera, et cetera. All grown up in this room, so we fully understand what I'm talking about, right? All right. And then there's the social interactions, how you're going to go about interacting with each other socially. Are you going to be on this roommate path to marriage? Not just your regular roommate on this path to marriage. It should just only be you and this person, hopefully, unless you have a multiple relationship, open relationship kind of thing going on. Those are different dynamics. Those come with different wording. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about two people making a decision, two roommates, so that they can get on this path to get on this path to being together, right? Sorry about that. A little bit of a mix up there. I'm doing a lot of apologies because there's so many distractions today. So socially, are you going to hang out with the same people, right? Or have you decided that okay, we're going to connect with the same people, or we continue to do our things separately because this roommate trial is just for certain hours of the day or for certain days? Maybe even you'll continue to keep your own respective places and only meet up in roommate, for 24 hours, or you maybe only decide that you're going to roommate for 2 days or whatever, anything like that. So if that does happen, you know and then we go to the practical. I am recording the podcast. If you're on TikTok and you're wondering, I am recording the podcast also on the other screen. If you have any questions, I will continue to look over there and see if anybody has any questions or anything that they wanted to say, or any microphone requests, which I'll be very selective about on this particular night. All right, and then making sure that it's practical. Is this something that can work? Do you both of the two, do you both have spaces where 2 days your place, 3 days your, the next space, alternating every other day at each other's places? How are you going to make this comfortable and deciding who brings what over, who doesn't bring what over? You want furniture being shared or not being shared, or just keep everything in your individual spaces and go back and forth roommating with the contract that you have created? So, what's the practical way of doing this, right? And then we're talking about the power of communication. It is important that you're able to communicate. A lot of times, people don't want to respect your boundaries, and when a person refuses to continue, you keep constantly saying, "These are my boundaries. These are my boundaries," and the person doesn't. They just don't care. They just don't care what your boundaries are. They only want to do it their way. And if that ends up being the case, then that is again another decision. This is grown people trying to tell you that there's a way that you could go into these situations in the future where you won't get caught up, and you can't say, "Oh, I didn't know, I gave it a try, and now it's this big breakup." No, it's not any of that. It's just a contract that's coming to an end of sorts, right? Everyone kept their own respective places. had some communication, went back and forth, gave this trial 2 weeks, gave this trial 4 weeks, gave this trial 6 months, and decided that this definitely was or was not for you, right? And then just outside of communication, you want to have respect, right? You want to definitely have respect for each other. Thank you so much, Strings, for coming by. You want to have respect for each other. Um, Sorry, I have a lot going on. That's why I am not cammed up tonight for those who were wondering. So you want to just have respect for each other and say whether or not is this something that can work for you. Please hit the screen if you can when you stop by. Tap the screen if you will. Also follow, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you are able to share, click on the link and become a subscriber so that you can come around for the other topics. I will highly appreciate that. All right, roommate trial is what we're talking about tonight. So we're going to go back over here for that one music break. Right, you guys. So back to the non-commercial version of it. So again, we talked about the power of communication. So with the roommate trial, like I said, all you want to do is just make sure that you have the main points, talking points tonight is that you have some kind of legal paperwork in place. Get a notary if you have a notary, or make sure that you're going to, this is not legal advice, but you may want to go with an attorney that knows how to put that for a small fee, put that document together. Most attorneys have very affordable fees to put documents together for you to say for this roommate trial. And then again, you want to decide for your social settings how this works out for you. Do you want to do, 2 nights at your place, 3 nights, however it is, but all within the goal of we are being intentional about now after a year of dating, we're now in the second year and we're being intentional about cohabitation. That's what we talked about in the beginning, cohabitation, so that you are able to decide whether or not this is for you. This is your way that you can cope and say that you were able to get a full picture of whether or not this situation is for you. And then you leave no questions, no doubt. And I promise you, if the contract comes to an end, you are the last person that is going to need closure. And I want to put an end to that era of closure. That is what I talk about in the book. So getting rid of the need to close. Once you walk away, you know that you gave your all. You were loyal. You were truthful. You gave your all. You put in the best that you could. You communicated at the best levels that you could with the situation that you were in. And then you walk away and both of you guys move on to what God has for you in a better space, right? Because you always want to wish the best for any person that comes into your space so that you can live well going forward, right? And then you have the power of communication. Like I said, is just the key ingredient that is going to make something like this work. And respect, because you have to have respect for the purpose, the process, the ending part of the process that could possibly happen where the other individual says this is not for me, and that is okay, and it's uncomfortable, and sometimes it takes a couple weeks, months, Sundays, years to get past that, but that's your own personal healing journey. You respect that individual's decision, and then you just go on about your way. That's why you always should have a backup plan that has a backup plan that also has a backup plan that knows a backup plan. Okay, because you don't want to get yourself caught in some situation where if y'all did make the really difficult cohabitation choice to actually be in each other's spaces, sometimes that can get really complicated, speaking from experience. Okay, so then like I said, the power of communication in this process, 1 day a week choosing. We are going to sit down and talk about this roommate trial that we're on. And do we still feel like we're on the path to marriage, or do we want to continue to cohabitate? Because this is not a good space for us to talk about the marriage side of things. But I do like the flow of how we are in the cohabitation space. So we continue on with that. And if that doesn't go with the guidelines of the contract that you have set, this is not legal advice, then maybe consider redoing the contract, revisiting who helped you put the contract together, and making an amendment or two, right? Or three or four, and sometimes it may take 10. All right, share your comments when you watch this later. I know YouTube, you guys tend to come back at another space and time, so please share your comments. Thank you so much for stopping by. I highly appreciate you. You can Oh, reminder, it is your ability to communicate effectively that will leave the lasting impact with the individual if you do have to go separate ways. Or if you continue on in your relationship and it does lead to marriage, it is how you communicate in an effective manner that will make or break the very important ingredient, which is communication. Trust, loyalty, those are a given, right? But communication is one that you have to work. All of it is something that you have to work at, because relationships are something that you have to work at, right? All right, so I'm hoping that this will take some clips for you guys over on TikTok. If not, you missed it, and I'll come back and bring that topic again at another time. There is 3 more parts to the roommate trial, so next week we'll try to get into that. Something different happens on the weekend. Contact me, DM on socials. I am Dee Shields. If you're on TikTok, I am Dee Shields CO. Follow and then DM if necessary. If you have any questions, okay. and I can direct you to the right individual if I'm not the person that can help you. All right, and contact me on Instagram, on YouTube, on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Lemonade, on X. You can contact me. I am Dee Shields, and you can listen to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. What Dee Says, the podcast. New episode up. Expect the unexpected. Just type that into expect the unexpected Dee Shields. You can type that into any place, podcast platform that you use. Today's episode name or What Dee Says, the podcast. Thank you so much for stopping in and being able to get through everything that this was, um, because there were a lot of breaks that happened, YouTube and Facebook. I highly appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let the media take you out to another space. And I'm going to continue on for a little bit on TikTok, opening the microphone for anybody that may want to jump in if you have any questions or feedback or points of view, agree or disagree.